going to start by dipping into any red that you like. I'm using English Rose ink. It's actually calligraphy ink, but I'm really liking it. It dries very flat, which is kind of nice. Whilst that's still wet, I'm going to go in with some green. Just want a little touch of that really, I don't want it to travel too far. Drop a little bit of ink in there. Just going to keep this very simple. A little bit of blue with the green. And then we could do a bright pink one. And actually we could do the double dip here. So it's harder with watered down green. That's quite nice. Go in and reshape, so don't worry about any reshaping that needs to happen. I'm just bringing some spokes down and dropping some of the olive green in. I'm going to keep moving my page around, keep it nice and flowy. And I want to do some very pale ones as well, so I'm picking up some Rose Madder, which is just here. I've mixed that down quite a bit, and I'm just going to put in a nice pale rose here. And you can drop in some green gold to that. And then some of the olive green, keeping it nice and simple. Might do a little flower coming off here. That could blend with that, can't it? And you can swap from your mop brush to a smaller brush if you want for this little bit, but you can actually shape your brush if you've got a mop brush so that it's kind of flat like this, and then you've got kind of a side that you can just go in with. Let's just bring the changes a little bit and add some of the Hansa yellow. Turn it round again. And let's add another yellow flower coming this way, very loose. And we can mix the yellow with a little bit of your Tom's or your whichever red ink you're using, and we can do a little base to it here. to use a little bit of green gold and a little bit of the olive green and just tap it in. Let's try another pink one. We can have this flowing into this one because why not? And this is the moss rose. It's very bright, very vibrant. And you can move it to wherever you like, so I'm just pulling it out so that it moves around. And I'm going to add some of the Perylene Violet to the centre, just tiny touches. And then mix some of the green with the pink to make it a little darker. Just drop in a few dots. Then I'm just going to water down some more green. Just going to let that flow into that flower there. Have a bluey tinge to this one. Lovely. And whilst that's wet, let's pick that up a little bit and use it. And we can just add a little bit of orange to that. Any pink and yellow that you have. And we can just let that do its thing. I'm going to do a double dip, so I'm dipping the base into green gold and I'm picking up this colour here. Let's add some more yellow to this one. Don't want to spoil this too much. And what we could do at this stage is just do a little bit of scratching. So we could scratch here, and we can just shape some of the petals here. And then drop in some Peri Violet and a little bit of the yellow. And timing is probably crucial for this bit, because if it's too wet here, it will just flow out, and you want to kind of just have it at the right kind of point where you can drop it in and it's not going to travel too far. And then very pigmented green gold. It will still travel, but just very thick. Okay, I'm going to get another leaf here. And a bit of blue and green. And I think it's time for another red. And they can all flow together. It's going to move my page around. yellow will just barge into any party without an invite. So I'm going to wait for that to dry and then we'll go in with a double layer there. Then we want another pinky one over here. Just going to do like a half opened flower. And I'm going to drop it into the tip, see how that flows. And if I put some green gold, which we know travels here, to see what happens there, that would be quite nice. I'm just going to add a bit of blue and yellow into that. So this needs encouragement because it's kind of just stayed where it is, and that's okay because we can swish it down. And I think a nice soft pink one now again. So back to our rose. This is Rose and Madder. Again, it's the most extraordinarily pretty colour, I think. Anyway, just love it. And we can bring some spokes down. And we can scratch a little bit if we want on this one. Oops, wrong end. And we can drop quite pigmented olive green, but I've taken the excess off so there's not a lot on my brush, because otherwise it would just take over that area. I might just add a little bit of Hansa Yellow Deep again, tiny touch. Now I want the piece to breathe. And then we're going to pick up some quite pigmented pink of your choice. And I'm going for Rose Madder. Just going to do that twisty movement up here. I needed a little bit more water on my brush. Just do some little kind of petals up there that are very textured. And I think another one down here. So again, just going to bounce up and down on the green. I've got it in the heel, and I'm going to just go into the Rose Madder again, quite pigmented, and I'm just going to squish that in. I might leave that like that. I think it looks quite nice. Maybe another one here. And want something going up this way. I'm just going to get a smaller brush, so size 4 round brush, and I'm just going to pull some little stalks out. That can have its own little stem, can't it? drop some olive green in. If you don't like an area when it's bleeding too much, go in with a dry brush and just keep scooping away until you get to the effect that you want. Just adding a little bit more pink to those. And it might be nice to have some lavender leaves. So I've got some Danthrian blue. And some moss rose. And then we want these to be quite delicate, so I'm covering all of my brush, but I've got quite a lot of water on there as well. I just want some little hints of lavender. Well, it's more of a lilac. These can go over these leaves. I just think they look really pretty. And some slate blue in the bottom of this one, just to kind of bring the changes. If you don't like the way it's flowing in, you can scoot back. Let's turn it round. Just going to go in and add another petal to this. Taking most of the pigment out when I went in there because it's so bright, but I can add a tiny touch here as well, and it just kind of creates these lovely layers. Just bouncing a little bit. There's always one flower that kind of you have to work a bit harder with, and I think it's this flower here. I think I'm going to have to go in with a very bright colour, so turn it round again actually, and I'm going to try and correct the shape of it, and I'm going to double dip into the pink and the red. Oh, I love how that looks over the green ink. That's lovely. That's really nice. Remember that. Is that a better shape? Yeah, that looks better. How nice is that? Lovely. So in danger of doing too much, but I'm just going to double dip into the red and pink. I'm just going to pick this up here because it feels like it should be a little brighter than it is. And I'm going to bring down a few little lines and just drop in some ink. A mix of slate blue ink and Brusho olive green. I'm just going to mix down a little bit more olive green Needs to be mixed quite well. And just going to do a little bit of a few extra leaves. And you can definitely do this with a smaller round brush as well. Just to kind of add over the ones underneath. I'll do a confident one there. I think this could be darker. There's a nice one here. Where is it? Oh, I'll put it over here. I think it'll look nice. I'm actually just not really doing much with my brush, just placing it, almost printing with it. Okay, feels like I need to reclaim this here because the red's flowed into it a lot. So I'm going to pick up some neat. Oh, I can see why. It's still very wet, so it's where the page is buckled. But that's okay. I do love this effect. So if you have Brusho, you could try this over your olive green leaves and just pick some of that up. There's quite a lot of water there. Okay, I'm going to add a tiny bit more detail here, so I'm just going to add another layer of the Tom's ink. And we can drop a little bit of water in there as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit of layering to them. A little bit more scratching maybe. The scratching doesn't always show straight away, it's when it dries you start to see it coming through. That's quite nice. I might just bring that out and do the same here.